On a freezing Christmas Eve, when the city streets were dressed in flickering lights and laughter spilled from warm homes, a man named Daniel Carter drove slowly through the snow. To the world, Daniel was a millionaire single dad, the kind of man who had everything money could buy. Yet, inside, he carried a loneliness that not even his success could heal. His wife had passed away years ago, leaving him to raise his little daughter, Lily, alone. He gave her the best gifts, the finest clothes, and the brightest tree each Christmas, but still, something always felt missing. As he pulled his car over to pick up hot cocoa for Lily, his eyes caught something that shattered his carefully guarded heart. Near a dimly lit alley, a woman knelt by a trash bin, shivering in the bitter cold, her thin coat barely clinging to her shoulders. She wasn't just searching, she was digging with desperation, as though hunger and hopelessness had become her only companions. Daniel felt an ache in his chest. He rolled down his window, torn between stepping in or driving away. But when he saw her hands trembling as she pulled out a half-eaten sandwich from the garbage, he couldn't ignore it. He parked and walked toward her. "Excuse me," his voice cracked in the sharp night air. She flinched, clutching the sandwich like a shield, her eyes wide with fear and shame. Her lips were pale, and snowflakes clung to her tangled hair. Daniel could see the fight in her gaze, the pride of someone who didn't want to be pitted. "I'm not here to hurt you," he whispered gently. "Please, are you hungry?" The woman's voice was soft, almost broken. "I used to bake cookies every Christmas Eve, for my little girl. She's gone now. And all I want tonight, is to feel like I'm human again." Her words hit Daniel like thunder. He felt his throat tighten, and for the first time in years, he didn't feel like a millionaire. He felt like a father who knew the weight of loss. Without another thought, he offered his hand. "Come with me. Just for tonight. Let me give you warmth, food, something more than this." She hesitated, her eyes searching his face for any trace of cruelty. But all she saw was sincerity. Slowly, with trembling fingers, she placed her hand in his. Her skin was ice-cold, fragile as if the world had nearly broken her. Back at Daniel's home, the warmth of the fireplace and the scent of hot chocolate wrapped around her like a forgotten dream. Lily, curious and innocent, peeked out from behind the tree. "Daddy, who's this?" she asked. Daniel knelt beside her. "Sweetheart, this is our guest tonight. She needed some kindness." The woman's eyes welled with tears when Lily shyly offered her a gingerbread cookie. "Merry Christmas," the little girl whispered. That simple act of kindness unraveled something inside the woman, and for the first time in years, she smiled, weak but genuine. As the night went on, Daniel learned her name was Sarah. She had lost her daughter to illness, her job soon after, and with no family left, the streets had become her home. Every word she shared carried pain, but also resilience, the kind that comes from surviving the unimaginable. Daniel listened, his heart breaking, and realized how easily life could strip anyone of dignity. Over the weeks that followed, Daniel didn't let Sarah fade back into the shadows. He helped her find medical care, bought her new clothes, and eventually offered her a job at one of his community centers. More than that, he gave her something she thought she'd never feel again, belonging. But the real turning point came when Lily slipped her hand into Sarah's one morning and said, "I think Mommy sent you to us. So we wouldn't be lonely anymore." Sarah broke down, her sobs echoing through the quiet house, because in that moment, she felt like she had found a family again. Months passed, and Sarah bloomed. The hopeless woman Daniel had found by the trash was gone, replaced by someone strong, gentle, and alive with purpose. And Daniel realized something he had been too blind to see: maybe this encounter wasn't chance at all. Maybe it was grace. That Christmas Eve, exactly 1 year later, the three of them stood together by the tree, no longer just a millionaire dad, a lonely daughter, and a broken woman, but a family stitched together by compassion and second chances. And Daniel, looking at Sarah and Lily laughing in the glow of the lights, whispered to himself, "This is the greatest gift I've ever been given." So if you're still watching this story right now, ask yourself, what would you have done if you saw Sarah digging through that trash? Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can change not just one life, but 2, or 3, or maybe even yours. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more stories, and remember, kindness has the power to heal wounds money never could. Snow fell heavier as the night deepened, blanketing the city in silence. The street sparkled with holiday lights, but in Daniel's heart, the brightest light had just come from the fragile woman sitting at his dining table. Sarah sat carefully, as though she was afraid the chair itself wasn't meant for her. She kept her eyes low, her hands folded tightly in her lap. Daniel placed a bowl of warm soup in front of her. "Eat," he said softly. "Please." She hesitated, her pride wrestling with hunger,